The story takes place at the largest pig farm in the Netherlands. It begins with a young woman named Mirta, a new employee at the facility. One day, she is secretly recording a video while workers are slaughtering a pig. Unfortunately for her, she gets caught. Mirta tries to run, but she is eventually captured and brought into the office of the farm's owner, a man named Jonas. When Jonas finds out that Mirta has been secretly filming his operation, he immediately snaps the phone in half. He wants to know why she did it. Mirta calmly explains that no one forced her. She says she acted on her own, driven by her concern for living beings. As someone who cares deeply about animals, she strongly condemns what Jonas does almost every day on his farm. After being fired, Mirta steps outside and reveals the truth. The phone Jonas destroyed was a decoy. Her real phone, the one containing the footage, is safe. She later meets up with a friend who belongs to an animal rights activist group. It becomes clear that Mirta's real motivation for recording the farm was not just compassion, but also a desire to be accepted into a circle of young activists she sees as bold and influential. That night, she attends one of their meetings. There, she meets Nasha, the ambitious and driven leader of the group. When Nasha hears that Mirta managed to infiltrate one of the largest pig farms in the country and capture video evidence, she is impressed. She considers allowing Mirta to join. Nasha then introduces the rest of the members, including Donna, Humphrey, and Ishmael. With Mirta's footage as proof, Nasha comes up with a plan. They will break into the farm, with Mirta acting as their guide. Wearing pig masks, the group sneaks onto the property without permission. Their mission is simple, at least in their minds. They want to free all the pigs being held there as an act of liberation and compassion. But things do not go as expected. Once inside, they discover that there are no pigs at all. The animals have either been moved or already slaughtered. Frustrated and unwilling to leave empty-handed, they vandalize the building, covering the walls with graffiti as a statement against the farm's activities. Suddenly, they are confronted by Jocko, the owner's eldest son. Seeing his family's business defaced, he demands that they leave and clean up the mess. Instead of backing down, the activists take things even further. They overpower Jocko and force him inside the house. Inside, they encounter his two younger siblings, Jonathan, the second son, and Bianca, the youngest, who is upstairs in her room. Bianca is visibly terrified. Donna removes her mask, not to comfort her, but to frighten her even more. She tells the young girl that her father is a murderer. To make matters worse, Donna even destroys one of Bianca's dolls, an act of cruelty that serves no real purpose beyond intimidation. From that point on, everything turns violent. This is meat kills. Downstairs, the situation grows more intense. Jocko and Jonathan are being interrogated by Nasha, who demands to know where the pigs are hidden. As the oldest brother, Jocko refuses to answer. Instead, he warns them that their father, Jonas, will be home soon. His fearless attitude only fuels Nasha's frustration. In a shocking move, she takes things too far. To make a statement, she pierces Jonathan's ear with the group's mark, treating him the way farmers tag livestock. His screams echo through the house. Mirta is clearly disturbed. She steps away to confront Nasha about crossing a line into criminal territory. But Humphrey insists everything is still under control and that nothing worse will happen. Trying to protect his younger siblings, Jocko finally agrees to record a confession video. Accompanied by Nasha and Mirta, he leads them into the slaughter room to show the tools used in the farm's daily operations. While being filmed, Jocko laughs and jokes around, almost mocking the seriousness of the situation. Nasha sees this as arrogance. She demands that he explain things more seriously and stands right beside him to supervise. Then in a split second, Jocko makes his move. He shoves one of them aside, escapes, and shuts off the lights, plunging the room into darkness. Nasha scrambles to find the power source, while Mirta turns on her flashlight to search for him. Suddenly, Jocko reappears and attacks Mirta. The others rush in and manage to restrain him again. Now consumed by anger, Nasha escalates the violence. She grabs a stun device normally used to immobilize pigs and shocks Jocko with it. His screams are unbearable. Hearing his brother in agony, Jonathan breaks down. He apologizes, pleading for mercy. He talks about their mother who has passed away and about Bianca's fragile health, hoping someone will show compassion. But Ishmael remains cold, focused only on what their father has done, unwilling to be swayed by emotion. Back in the slaughter room, Jocko is barely holding on. Instead of stopping, Nasha laughs as he suffers, claiming this is what animals endure every day. But Jocko suddenly fights back, managing to corner both Nasha and Mirta. What happens next changes everything. In a moment that reveals how far she has fallen, Nasha deliberately kicks Jocko, causing part of his body to fall into a container of boiling water. His injuries are catastrophic. Mirta desperately tries to help him, but Nasha stands frozen. Realizing the situation is beyond repair, the two women flee, leaving Jocko behind as he lies dying. Back inside the house, Humphrey and Ishmael are still guarding Jonathan when they are suddenly interrupted. Jonas has returned home, armed and ready. With their father now there, Jonathan is forced to hold a rifle and watch over the intruders. Jonas heads upstairs to check on Bianca. Meanwhile, Donna hides inside a closet. From her hiding place, she sees Jonas carrying a knife, and fear takes over. He quickly discovers her and drags her downstairs. At that very moment, Jonathan attempts to fight back against Humphrey and Ishmael, but Jonas, experienced and ruthless, easily overpowers the young activists. Inside the warehouse, Jonas handcuffs the 3 captured activists and begins interrogating them about why they came to his farm. Jonathan, not wanting his father to go too far, suggests calling the police and letting the authorities handle it. But Jonas refuses. Jocko is still missing, and no one knows what condition he is in. Jonas orders Jonathan to find his brother and make sure he is still alive. Meanwhile, inside the house, Myrtha searches for her phone and quickly calls the police, asking them to come immediately. Before she can slip away, Jonathan catches her. Hurt and betrayed, he realizes that Myrtha never truly cared about him. The only reason she got the job at the farm was by getting close to him and pretending to have feelings. Jonathan feels completely deceived. Myrtha tries to defend herself, insisting she never expected things to spiral this far. She suggests they check on Jocko together. But on the way, Myrtha suddenly strikes Jonathan from behind and tries to escape with Nasha. Realizing he has been tricked again, Jonathan chases after them. When he finally catches them, he locks both Myrtha and Nasha inside a freezer room. However, Jonathan is not strong enough to keep control. He is quickly overpowered, and the 2 women manage to escape, shutting him inside the freezing room instead. At the same time, Jonas continues intimidating the captured activists with the sharp tools from his farm. Humphrey and Donna are visibly terrified. Ishmael, however, remains oddly confident, convinced that Jonas will not actually kill them. Then everything changes. A figure suddenly appears. It is Jocko, barely alive. He collapses in front of his father and dies right there. Jonas is shattered. Rage takes over. He turns on Ishmael and beats him brutally. Overwhelmed by grief, Jonas grabs a bottle of liquor in an attempt to calm himself. He rambles, trying to justify his actions and keep himself from losing control. In a burst of anger, he throws the bottle, and in the chaos, Humphrey manages to slip free from his restraints and run. Humphrey does not look back. He abandons his friends and flees, but Jonas is not about to let him escape. Using the vehicle he normally uses to dispose of pig carcasses, Jonas hunts Humphrey down. He runs him over and crushes him without hesitation. After Humphrey is dead, Jonas loads the body and takes it to the slaughter room. Unaware that Myrtha and Nasha are hiding underneath a table, Jonas brings the corpse inside. The 2 women can do nothing but watch as their friend's body is dragged across the floor. Once Jonas leaves, they crawl out from hiding. Nasha is injured from her earlier fight with Jonathan, so Myrtha tells her to stay put while she goes off alone to find the others. Back in the warehouse, Jonathan finally learns that his older brother is dead. Donna, crying, apologizes for what happened, insisting that Jocko's death was never part of the plan. Moments later, Jonas returns. Without hesitation, he hooks Donna with a metal tool and drags her away to the pig pen. There he leaves her bleeding, knowing that the scent of blood will attract one of the pigs. As she lies helpless, Donna finally understands the cruel irony. The animals she claimed to defend so fiercely will now be the ones to end her life. At the same time, Myrtha manages to free Ishmael and quickly brings him to the slaughter room to reunite with Nasha. The confidence Ishmael showed earlier is completely gone. Now he looks terrified. Nasha is in shock as well, overwhelmed by everything that has happened. Myrtha tries to steady both of them, urging them to escape while they still can. But Jonas arrives before they get the chance and knocks all 3 of them unconscious. When they wake up, they are tied up and hanging upside down. Jonas is no longer just a farm owner defending his property. He is a grieving father determined to avenge his eldest son. He may not be a good man, but until tonight, he never went out looking for trouble. Now, driven by loss, he shows no mercy. Ishmael is executed in a brutal and unforgiving way. Next in line is Myrtha. But just as Jonas prepares to continue, Jonathan suddenly appears and strikes his father from behind, trying to stop the madness. As Jonas turns his attention to his son, Myrta manages to free herself and runs, hiding in another room. Jonas grabs a cutting machine and chases after her. Myrta flees into a storage area and hides among stacks of meat, hoping he will not find her. When Jonas finally stands directly in front of her, she reacts without hesitation. She bites into his neck and uses the cutting machine against him, ending his life in a desperate act of survival. With Jonas dead, Myrta rushes back to free Nasha. She then wakes Jonathan, who is still unconscious. For a brief moment, it feels like the nightmare might finally be over. Myrta asks Jonathan to leave with her and start a new life somewhere far away from this place. But Nasha has not let go of her anger. Without warning, she stabs Jonathan from behind with a machete, claiming it is revenge for her friends. Myrta is horrified. She cannot accept what Nasha has done. The two women face each other in one final confrontation. In the end, Myrta kills Nasha using a nail gun, bringing their violent crusade to its bloody conclusion. Just when it seems that nothing worse can happen, Bianca wakes up and walks out of the house. One by one, she discovers the lifeless bodies of her family members. Then she sees Myrta, still alive, crying over Jonathan's body. Slowly, Bianca picks up a rifle lying nearby. Without hesitation, she pulls the trigger and kills Myrta, closing the cycle of violence that began earlier that night. So the moral of the story is, if you break into a pig farm to look cool, you might end up as the main course.